Ladies and gentlemen, friends of the WILD10, it's a big honor for me and Ulf to present Great Laponia. It is situated in the mid of the Sami territory, the traditional Sami territory, mainly on the Swedish side, partly on the Norwegian side. And this Great Laponia is not only a wilderness, but also, from an indigenous point of view, a cultural landscape. It is a spiritual landscape, and it's important for the survival of the Sami people. And this is, at least in a European context, quite a unique area. During this presentation, hopefully you have some glimpse of the importance of this area, and also that not only Europeans, but all of us have a certain responsibility to protect this area. So, Ulf.
And what we just have started is to try to form a kind of new coalition between the Sami community, Sami enterprise, and ecotourism in Sweden to try to define a long-term sustainable use alternative for the landscape as an alternative to extracting industry, which is threatening also in our part of Europe.
And of course we want to tell about the possibilities and challenge for the Great Laponia. To begin with, we want to give you some kind of a sense of this area, and I want to mention that the first European who entered this area was the famous Swedish scientist and explorer Carl von Linné in 1732, and when he arrived to this area, he describes in his book, he didn't know if he was entering Africa or Asia, because this was totally new for this Swedish scientist. So we begin with the video, so video please. You saw the video, and that's the reality of today. But we know less about the future of this area. But as you saw, it is high mountains, free rivers, wetlands, pristine old growth forest with the wildlife. We have also an essential part of that is the Sami culture and the reindeer herding. And this is probably the biggest diverse and more or less unbroken land in the northern part of Europe. Ulf. Yeah, that's right. Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it stretches from the Norwegian side, from the fjords up over the mountains that have peaks over 2,000 meters above sea level, and so it combines over the high mountains and the wetlands and the pristine forests, connected by 3 untamed rivers to the Baltic Sea. So it's actually coast to coast from the Atlantic Ocean to the Baltic Sea.
And then the next. And we have tried to create a new alliance between. Of course, we have earlier had an alliance with those working with in the environmental matters, but now we also create an alliance with those working in the tourism industry and mainly in the ecotourism. And I think it's next. And of course, this is a special type of landscape that have been used by indigenous people for thousands of years in a sustainable way. But we have still a lot of challenges ahead, and this has been also described by our colleagues about mining gas and oil, and this is also a big threat against this area, mainly mining. Next. And as you see, this is a huge territory. It's bigger or almost the size of Belgium. It covers a big part of Sweden, but also a part of Norway. And it is also very easy accessible. As you see, there's a lot of airports, so it is from a both from the European but also from a global point of view, area when you can reach very fast, and also quite actually it's not so costly to go to this area. Next. And this is also the type of the landscape you saw in the video about high mountains and forests. And we can then we take next one. And you can also see the ways of communications to this area, both through the Swedish side, but also on the Norwegian side. So you can see the whole area is fenced by communication, so to speak. And this is another part of the story, and this is the forest roads mainly outside this Laponia area. And as you know, forestry is a very big industry in the north, and this industry has created quite a lot of difficulties, not only for the environment but also for the traditional reindeer herding, because the lands have changed dramatically through forestry. But if you look on this area, it is quite clean. Very few roads inside, and you have one main road in the middle. So this means also, even if it's a big area, not so much communication inside, but it is still it's quite easy to go to this area, even from Salamanca. Next. And this area is covers also this World Heritage Area. And this national parks in this area was established 100 years ago, and the main reason behind, or the rationale behind, was to protect this from industrialization. And so far we have managed to do that, but we have still the threat from the industrial complex to use the resources in this area. And as I mentioned earlier, this is quite a unique area, and it is actually part of Europe. Next. And this picture shows the traditional Sami villages. And As you can see, the colors of the borders of these villages, and there are about 15 villages in this area, and about 8 on the Norwegian side. And of course, we have now started to discuss this concept to also with our colleagues and friends on the Norwegian side. And if you look on this area, in this area there's over 100,000 reindeers. And this means it is about 40% of the total reindeer herding population in Sweden. And I can also assure you we have even more mosquitoes. And sometimes we have more bears in this area than we have Swedes. And that's also another story. So it is quite a unique area. Next. And this is more a map of this part of Europe, and you can see very clearly that this is a quite unique area. If you want to find another area with this wide range of nature, you have to go to US, Canada, or to Russia. So it is actually quite a unique area, and it's in Europe, and therefore I also mean that Europe have a special responsibility with this area, and to try to protect it and to make use that in a sustainable way. Okay, next. And I mentioned Alaska, and as I said earlier, you cannot find so many places up in the north that can be compared with this great Laponia area. Next. So now to the problems.
Yes. So we think we've discovered something that is pretty beautiful and valuable, but we also realize that there are some severe challenges and threats to this area that are similar to what we understand is happening all around the world. So Lars-Anders will tell us a bit more about the threats.
Next. Yeah, we have been around with the Europeans for a quite long time, even longer than our colleagues from Australia, but we have also faced the same problems, but maybe in a less dramatic way. And the situation of the indigenous peoples cannot, of course, be compared with our friends on the Australian side, and that's sad to say. And you see now. Okay. We try once again. Modern technology. It's almost like forestry. You cannot predict what their real goal is. But this forestry, of course, it is a big industry on the Swedish side and up in the Arctic, and of course this have created a lot of problem for the traditional livelihood as reindeer herding, and also it has changed the biodiversity in a very, very, very grey way. And we have to bear in mind that in Sweden there is only 3% virgin forest, and most of this forest is in this greater Laponia area. Even if you include Norway and Finland, most of these pristine old forests are on the Swedish side. And this is modern forestry. Next. Could we have the next picture, please? And this is also the so-called green energy. And this is, of course, I think it's quite wise to use the wind, but we have also a problem that there is now a big expansion of windmills in the Sami territory. Now, actually, biggest windmill park is now on the way to. It's just outside this area, and it is partly financed by the Germans. And as you know, the Germans have closed down, or at least closing down their. All these atomic or nuclear energy plants, and we can also see that this energy production windmills are moving up to the north, and this is a big challenge. Next. And this is also, it was early mentioned, the impact of mining. As you know, if you talk about mining in Europe, Sweden is the main mining country in Europe, and the biggest ore mine in Europe is in the Sami territory. The biggest gold mines are also situated in Sami territory. The biggest copper mines are also situated in the Sami territory, and we can also see the examples in US, Canada, Australia. Most of the the mines in operations, but also mines that or minerals that haven't been exploited are on the Sami territory. So this means that the indigenous communities, not only around the world but also in the Sami territory, are really threatened from this expansion of mining industry. And we have also these mines are quite close to the Laponia area. This is only some kilometers from this Great Laponia area. So this is a part of the reality. We are surrounded by mines, and sad to say, it seems to be even more mines in the future, even if we are trying to resist against that. So next. And we can also see these mining districts here, so you can clearly see that this is a big challenge ahead. And this is a picture of the biggest mining areas in Europe. And also, in a global sense, it is a huge mining areas that are quite important for the world economy, for the Swedish economy, but it's less for the indigenous peoples, not only in Sweden but also elsewhere. The money goes definitely other ways. Next. And I was also mentioning wind power, because now also in this area we can also see that there are a lot of windmills that they are planning to build windmills, and we have a very big expansion of windmills in the Sami territory, and there is also some ideas to build such mills very near to the Great Laponia, and some are, as you see, already in this area. Next. So this was the end, and on behalf of Ulf and me, Ulf.
Thank you for listening and for giving us the possibility to